Hey, 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 welcome back to an all new episode of The In Between. I'm your host, Elizabeth Cheney, and it's great to be back. I know it's been a rough, bumpy past couple of months in terms of, content and recording and life things. And if you are not sure what I'm talking about, well, go back and listen to the most recent episode. But I am going through a major life transition, but it's all good. Because you know what? We are in control of our fate. We are in control of our fate, meaning we handle the things that life throws at us. And, if you have to crumble a little bit, you let it. If you persevere immediately, that's great for you. Otherwise, life is just a continuous flow of beauty, magic, and lessons. Way to kick today's episode off on such a existential note. But then again, that's basically who I am. Anyways, I am recording this on the spring equinox, the start of the astrological new year. And sure, time is a social construct. I don't necessarily believe in it. However, as an ADHD girly, I do like structure in my routine. So starts, finishes, things like that, I really like it. So I am going to honor the astrological new year, I put that in quotes, as the start to my new year. One, because as I've already said multiple times, especially in last episode, the past 6 months have been horrible. Not the best. We'll just call it a growing season, back to that fate comment I just said. I don't let life just happen to me. I get through it one way or the other, even if I have a bajillion mental breakdowns and panic attacks in the process. But the spring equinox, so it's also representing the beginning of spring. It's like the day where it's the day. Well, it is the day, but it's the day where light and dark are equal during the day. So hello, seasonal depression. You can leave. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on your way out, because we are in the process of receiving sunlight, good fortune, good juju, all of the things. All jokes aside, yes, the past few months have felt stagnant. That's one way to put it. And I kept thinking to myself, all right, not to get too woo-woo, but I was hoping and also just praying, if you will, once March comes around, maybe things in my life would start to finally kind of move. And they definitely have. Are they full speed ahead? Absolutely not. But we're getting there. I only have 100 things to do at this house. I am a little overwhelmed, and I will talk about that later. But if there's one person I'll bet on, it's me. That's something I always say. And sometimes that's me just trying to prove to myself that I can do it. But I mean, looking at my track record, I almost always come through. And if I don't, it's because I changed my mind. So that's that. But cheers to the spring equinox. Cheers to sunlight. Cheers to longer days. Oh, gosh. You know what's so funny is I used to love winter. And I mean, I love the cold, but the long nights, right? And I got to be honest, I don't know what I was on, but I can't believe that was me, if that makes any sense. I need the sunlight. I need to be outside. I need to touch grass. Maybe it's just because life has been lifing and, I can take all the positivity and all the sunshine and all the rainbows, but I no longer care for the long night. So maybe I'm out of my vampire era and more in my butterfly era. Which kind of goes with my moms and I. We have this little thing that we say now. It's this is our butterfly year, which now that I say that, I do think we said that at the end of 2023, that 2024 was going to be. But little did we know, 2024 was more the cocoon year. And this year will be the butterfly year. So cheers to spring equinox, sunshine, and butterfly years. There we go. I think that's a better cheers. So what's been going on besides major life changes, which I am not going to talk too much about because, you're still kind of in the process, still kind of going through the motions, still kind of getting all of that together. And then also, I'm not just going to talk about that stuff just offhandedly. I'm going to really put a lot of time, attention, and, love, let's be real, love into that type of content, divorce content. So we'll get there. Just know that every single person who reached out after the most recent episode, which I'm not going to lie, I was really surprised. Not that I don't think I put out great content, but I had so many people reach out to me after that last episode. So I think you guys like me. And you guys care. So that's great. But so much support, so many people reaching out saying that they'd gone through something similar and they really appreciated my words on it. And just, I don't know, it's nice to have community. And every major life thing that I've been through, I always come back to community. You have to fall on your community, whether that's your friends, your family, social media, people on the internet, I don't know, Reddit forums, whatever floats your boat. You know, when I lost Luna, community was huge. Community was huge. So getting through this, I don't think I would be able to if it weren't for my support system. And, you know, I look forward to unveiling more and just, if anything, unveiling more of the introspection and the growth that comes with this. Because, like I said, life can either happen at you or you can grab it by the horns and deal with it as you can. And that doesn't necessarily mean you are action and you are going in at it. No, it also means sometimes you have to rest. Sometimes you have to sit. Sometimes you have to just put your podcast on hold because you got to survive. And survival looks differently for all people. So hopefully we're getting out of our survival era. I personally feel like mine is definitely fading, which is great. That fight or flight is no longer regulating my nervous system, which, gosh, I am very happy about that. But I hope the same for you. So trying to get back into the regular cadence of this whole thing. Obviously, the podcast is a big deal to me. I'm going to work on speaking content this year. I'm actually meeting with somebody this week to work on the website page for that. So slowly but surely, I'm getting back in the, what's a good cheesy phrase I can add? Getting back in the saddle. Oh, man. You know, after Norway, which I'm going to try not to talk too much about Norway because me and Ashley and I are going to record an episode that really, recaps that trip. Just know that it was absolutely incredible, absolutely healing, and absolutely what my heart needed. I saw the Northern Lights. Oh my gosh. If you follow me on Instagram, social media, then you saw, you followed along, and it was incredible. When I tell you the display that we got, even the tour guide was freaking out. I still need to kind of write and think about just what that meant for me and things like that. But it was an incredible experience, bucket list for sure. If you are ever given the opportunity to see the Northern Lights, I highly recommend because it is out of this world. It was magical. And, you know, the more I put one foot in front of the other and walk this path, the path of healing, the path of life, whatever, it just reminds me how much magic there is in the world. And the magic is you. The magic starts with you. The magic is you. You are the magic. I am the magic. All that to say, it was wonderful. It was exactly what the doctor ordered, because as soon as I got back, life was like, okay, great. Glad you had fun. Now let's just freaking go balls to the wall. Work's been crazy in a good way, but just, well, I mean, crazy is never really good, but it's been busy. So I've been distracted, but it's been crazy. But I'm really proud of me and my team because we have gotten through all of the things that we had to do for this huge new rollout. And it's kind of cool to see the fruits of your labor. You know, we're about to launch and whew, but I feel like I have not been able to slow down or keep my feet tethered to the ground in 2 weeks since I got back. So that's great. But that's okay. That's okay. I'll tell you this, my priorities this year are getting the podcast out. Cool. Do some speaking engagements. Cool. I'm going to make money for myself and also travel. I want to travel everywhere. I've already set myself up for this app called Going. I think it used to be Scott's Cheap Flights. I think it's like $5 a month. Either way, I can set like which airports I want. So I did like Atlanta and New York. Manifesting New York one day. Living there would be great. Which, side note, I feel like a ton of people have told me I need to move to New York. Like, you have New York energy. And even though I'm not sure if that'll ever happen, I can see myself visiting there all the time. I love the fact that people think moi, I have New York energy, because that translates in my head to cool. Cool girl energy. Or maybe just like really high energy, both of which I will accept and take. But traveling, that is my goal this year. So all my money, besides like what little bit needs to go into savings, is going to go into travel. So if you're looking for a travel buddy, call your girl. Speaking of travel, well, unrelated to travel, but speaking of abroad, I don't think it's inappropriate or weird to admit this on the podcast, but I've been, the past couple of months, like 5-6 months, I've been looking into citizenship by descent for the EU because my father's family is from Eastern Europe, And even though he was born here, there's lots of ties there. And after doing my little bit of research, I've learned already so much about my background. I'm not going to go too much into it because I actually just hired somebody that's going to do it legitimately and do all this research for me. But basically, I'll just say this. Really, it's to find out where am I eligible for this citizenship. And there's like 2 options, possibly. Granted, all my research has been on the free internet, so who knows if those resources are super accurate. But as I uncover more, I will definitely share. I'm really excited. And you know, if it doesn't work out, at least I get to learn a lot about my family history because like I legitimately don't know anything about that side of the family since they're not really in my life. So, you know, going abroad, perhaps going to get my EU citizenship. Lord knows things over here are not the best. That was one thing people in Norway kept asking, like, how is it over there? How is your president? You know, a few other questions that I'm not going to say here on the podcast. And I'm just like, nervous laughter. It's great. Just kidding. Nervous laughter. It's, you know, it's a thing. It's happening. You know, this podcast is a form of entertainment, so I'm not going to talk about politics. Just know that I have had to put myself in a hole in a lot of ways. I've been paying attention to immigration just because of everything that I'm trying to do. But other than that, I just can't deal. I feel like I have enough friends who post things so that I am I am updated enough to be somewhat aware of what's going on. But I tell you what, the more I learn, the more I just want to cry. So back to the hole. I've been in enough holes the past 6 months, but I will put my head into the political hole. That's for sure. So that's that. Since I've been back, getting back into the routine of things, trying to add a little bit more order to my life. So I started meal prepping, which, you know, it's really nice when I don't have to worry about what I need to cook. And it also helps me eat like the level that I need to be eating each day. I'm trying to work on my fitness goals and like I need to take in more protein. And when you are ADHD and hyper-focused, you tend to skip meals accidentally, not intentionally. So if I want to see the fitness goals that I've set out for myself, Ashleana tells me that I need to eat more protein. So trying to do that. Meal prepping helps with that, especially with like breakfast and lunch. Dinner typically is the only meal that I do eat. So that's great. So now I eat eggs in the morning. I eat an egg bake. I eat yogurt with chia seeds. Like I am just so healthy. I can't even. I eat tomatoes. Side note, for those who know me, y'all know that I have been trying to make myself like tomatoes for like the better part of like my adult life. I now like them. I'm proud of me. Proof that your taste buds do change. Not that that is a super important point or fun fact about Elizabeth, but I think it's amazing that was a silly, well, I say silly, but it was something that I was like, I'm going to make myself like tomatoes, damn it. They are juicy. They come in cute little sizes. Everyone likes them. I'm going to make myself like them because they come in so many different things anyway. And it was a long road. It was a very long road. But guess what? I made it. I made it. You know, if there is anything that I have succeeded in life, it is convincing myself that certain foods I hated are delicious. Because they are. Anyways, I digress about that. My mother won't get off my back about getting a pet. And I'm like, Mom, I just got out of a situation where I was responsible for everything and then some. And I would just like a brief period of not having to worry or be responsible for anything but myself. And as you can tell so far in this podcast, I have been working hard towards my goals and getting better with routine and structure and getting back in the saddle. I don't know why that makes me giggle. Probably because like me, a cowgirl. Anywho, I say that as a joke, like I didn't grow up in the country. I absolutely grew up in the country. Bonfires and haystacks. That was my high school, middle school, and most of my young life. But anyways, I digress. Mom, is it that you want me to get a pet or do you want the pet? Because I'll be like, Mom, I want to travel. That's not fair for a dog or a cat. And she's like, well, I could watch it. And I'm like, well, maybe you underestimate how much I actually want to travel this year. I could still watch the pet. And I'm like, you're missing my point. Let me ask you this. Is it that you want me to get a pet or do you want the pet? I mean, I have thought about getting a cat because I do think that's a little bit less of a responsibility. But also I know me and myself and I don't think I could handle having a cat and traveling all the time. It would be lonely. It'd be sad. And then I can't get 2 cats. Gosh, then I really probably wouldn't travel because I feel bad. I don't know. I'm just rambling about animals. All this to say, my mom won't get off my back about it. And as much as I would love a puppy, I know it would bring me a lot of joy. The pet that I'm trying to get right now is those airline points. So there she blows. So that's fun. let's see, other things. This house, as I mentioned earlier, I'll get into that. It's expensive trying to furnish a house. I've had to sell part of my soul to the devil himself, Jeff Bezos, and buy a lot of things on Amazon. And, I don't regret it because you got to do what you got to do. And sometimes capitalism wins. So thank you, Bezos, for the I have to be honest, it's like decent quality stuff, making my house look fabulous. But to each his own, I guess. Hate me for it if you want, but she's got to do what she's got to do. All that to say, slowly but surely getting this place together. I still have so much art to hang. That's one thing that I do need to figure out. I need like 100 frames. That's dramatic. I don't need that many frames, but I do need a lot of frames, and frames are expensive. And, as much as I'd love to be like, yeah, I'll just make them myself, I have to know my limits. And that's one of them. As much as I'd love to be an arts or crafts girly, I'm like, I can't do that and learn the piano and do a podcast and speak and do my job and do this and do that. It's a beautiful thing to have so many interests, but I cannot commit myself to 50,000 things because I've been there, done that. And let me tell you something, not much got done. So there is that. But in terms of the home and all of that fun jazz, it is fun turning a home into your own. You know what I mean? I still have a long way to go, but I've bought rugs. She bought rugs. I bought ceiling fans. I also bought curtains. So the reason I bring up the curtains is because as a single independent girly now, I was always an independent girly, but now being alone, I've been doing a lot of stuff on my own. And I definitely have this belief that I can do anything that I set my mind out to, which is partially true, but sometimes you need help. So, for example, if you live alone, I highly recommend that you don't try to hang curtains, like window curtains, curtain rod by yourself. So I have really tall ceilings in this house. And I have this really big, beautiful window in the living room. And up until like this past weekend, there was just this big, ugly navy blue sheet covering it. I got blinds, but I didn't want to do blinds for these windows because they're like kind of ornate, like they're really pretty designed windows. So I was like, I'm going to keep those and then get a big curtain. So at night I can close it, obviously, and then during the day keep it open. Well, I'm looking at the height of this window and the wall, and I'm like, is my ladder going to get me up there? Of course, because remember, single independent lady over here, she can do everything she sets her mind to. So here I am on my tippy toes on the top step of this ladder, which I cringe even saying that because like that should have been a clear sign that this was not the smart move because I'm on my tippy toes on the top part of the ladder. Also think about me and my clumsiness and my inability to like keep myself like balanced. I feel like no matter the core strength, I am always going to wobble. That is for damn sure. I slipped, slopped, slapped all over Norway. Ashley Anna has lots of evidence of it. And it's not because I was trying to be clumsy. I don't know. I got weird knees. That's all I have to say. So here I am on top of the ladder trying to hang this curtain on my tippy toes, and I still can't even like basically see how I'm screwing this in with the screw gun because I'm going off, for lack of better words, vibes. This looks right. Like, so many things done wrong. Would definitely do it differently now, but whatever. So here I am screwing in the screws, trying to get this rod, like the rod hangings up there. And all of a sudden, like I just feel myself start to sway back. I was starting to fall completely backwards, and I just reached out, and of course, like, what am I going to grab? Thankfully, the crown molding on top of the window sticks out pretty far. I grabbed that, which I guess I have really great hand strength because literally the molding of my window frame is what saved my life. So here I was like, oh my God, holding it. And I'm like trying to get my body to balance, like, don't fall. And I'm like, oh my God, I almost just died. I legitimately almost just died. I looked down behind me as I've now regained my balance, and I'm like sweating profusely because that was like 3 seconds of sheer fear, terror, panic, all of the above. I look behind me and I'm like, I would have absolutely broken my neck. Not that the ladder is too high, but the amount of shit I had behind me, like tools, this, that, whatever, I would have died. Hopefully not died, but I would have done some damage. And all I could think about was me just laying there, unable to find my phone, unable to do anything, and just, I don't know, bleeding out, my bones breaking, oxygen being cut off. I don't freaking know. Name every worst case scenario, and that was running through my head. And then the next thought I had was, wow, as a single girl, do I need to get life alert? Jeez. And a lot of people that I've told that story to, like, you need to get yourself like a guy friend or someone that can come help you, like my neighbor, blah, blah, blah. Like, look, I don't have a dad. My grandpa's gone. I don't really have a lot of masculine energy in my life. So who you gonna call? Nobody. I have since found a few friends that were like, Elizabeth, please don't kill yourself. I will help you next time. Ashley and his dad being one of them. So that's great. But if you want to adopt me and be my little helper, I would really appreciate it, because Lord knows I'm probably going to continue to push the limits on what a single hyper independent girly can do. And I don't want to be not as lucky next time. I definitely want to be as lucky next time. Wow, that did not come out correctly. All I'm trying to say is I'm trying to not break my neck next time. So do I get life alert? Or do I ask one of my homies, be like, yo, if anything, can you just come spot me? Oh, man. But anyways, the curtain's hung. I am not going to say it looks good, but it's hung and it gets the job done. And maybe one of these days someone can come help me adjust it. But single girl hijinks, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more of those, because I am a walking, living cartoon character. I mean that as a compliment, but really it just encompasses the fact that I'm goofy, weird things and quirky things happen to me, and I just smile and go with it. Just vibe. Like, okay, of course this is going to happen because I'm a cartoon character. But that's okay. That's okay. It keeps life interesting. I live my life like a movie. That's literally my mantra. Oh, this shit hit the fan again. Living my life like a movie. This must be the plot point. Lots of plot points recently, but hopefully we're now like in the good part of the movie. The drama hopefully has subsided. Geez, ready for the next chapter. But all that said and done, single girl escapades, I can see them continuing. I can see more. Let's see what she gets into. Who knows what my travels may bring? All my jokes and rambling aside, I gotta say, I am so excited for this new chapter and what's to come and where I'm going and all of that exciting stuff. I've already started like reaching out to people who I met last year about coming on the podcast and getting back in the flow of that. And it feels good. Dare I say, I feel alive. And I really do mean that. And I have to say, going through what I've been through the past 6 months, and as somebody who has had lots of crippling anxiety related to my path, my future, my fate, my dreams, all of that, sometimes you do have to slow down and you have to compartmentalize and you have to take it one step at a time. Sometimes it's one step every 3 days sort of thing. And I kind of mentioned this on the last episode, but you will feel alive again, no matter what you're going through. And I'm not gaslighting you. I'm not even going to pretend to assume what hardships someone may be going through, but you will feel alive again. And as long as you don't let life happen at you, you take the tragedy, the confusion, the shitstorm rather, you take it as it comes and you let it hit you the way it needs to. You let it transform you the way it needs to, but you always get back in the saddle. There's that phrase again. You're going to be okay. You will feel alive again. You will find the magic of life, the universe, the magic of what it means to live. Because, my favorite thing to ramble about with anyone who will listen to me is about the universe, existentialism, and the fact that we exist. It's insane that we exist. It's insane that we are living our lives on this blue rock floating through an infinite universe, talking on podcasts, writing emails, making ourselves like tomatoes. It's a beautiful thing. Our existence is here for a speck. Our entire existence is here for a speck. So that means life is worth living. And I know we've seen the positive posters probably in grade school saying, do better, keep going forward. Life is what you make it. But truly, life is what you make it. Don't get bogged down by society. Don't get bogged down by the bullshit. If you're going through a period of darkness and evolution, raise his hand, that's still beautiful. That's still part of the story. That's still part of your existence. And that's kind of what I mean by like, don't let life happen at you. You go with the flow of life. And remember, sometimes it's shitty and those moments are going to happen. We're going to suffer. We're existing in this world. Yes, suffering is part of it. But rather than focusing on the suffering, I want you to focus on the magic. And even in all my darkest days the past 6 months, all the moments where I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? Like, fuck, this is hard. And you start role playing all the hindsight 2020s that got you here. And you're like, damn, I let this happen. Okay, that's kidding. I'm not going to spiral there. But even still, I didn't forget about the magic. Okay, that's a lie. There was definitely a few moments in my despair where I was like, oh gosh, am I going to make it out? But most importantly, I did. Most importantly, I didn't forget. And most importantly, the magic was still there. And I think I mentioned this last time as well. I am sure the reflection, introspection on this whole thing, this whole journey will continue to present itself within weeks, months, years to date. But never lose sight of the magic. We are so back, baby. We are so back. I feel like myself again, even more so. Norway helped with that. Gosh. You know, I just want to say this. If you need to heal, especially after some major life shit, highly recommend going abroad. I know not everyone financially can do that. So maybe it's just going on a solo trip or something like that, but travel, do something, take yourself out of the environment and just reset. Like, it was the best reset I could have asked for. Northern Lights, bucket list item. I'm not saying you have to go hard or go home, you know, go that big or go home kind of thing, but do something for yourself, because it definitely kickstarted my healing journey, and that's beautiful. It's magical. And when I tell you, just to kind of continue on with the magic line I've got going here, again with the Norway episode with Ashley Anna, we'll talk more about this, but I just want to say, yes, seeing the Northern Lights was definitely a bucket list item, but it was a spiritual experience. And as you all know, it's been something I've been talking about for the better part of a year. And when I tell you, the Northern Lights showed out. They showed out. It was incredible. Like, the whole sky exploded into colors of green, purple, pink. It was so bright, it almost seemed like the sun was out. Did I cry? 1000% afterward. Of course I did. It's me, the emotional empath over here. Of course I cried. But it was happy tears. It was the knowing that I'm on the right path. It was the reassurance, the validation that I have been seeking, that I have been needing from the universe to say, you're going to be okay. You're doing the right thing. Everything you've been through is just all part of the larger picture. And I hope that my story, my strength, my perseverance, if you will, inspires you. And, you know, I hope it helps you find the magic of life in your own life. I hope it helps you never to forget the magic. Again, reminder, we go through shit. We go through hardships. But there is joy, there is abundance, and there is magic on the other side of that. At least that's my 2 cents on it. And again, you may not agree with me, but if you don't, I would argue that your outlook on life needs to change, because life is beautiful, life is worth living, and life is what you make it. All those posters that we saw in grade school, maybe they had something to them. So here we are. Breaking generational trauma, child wounds, healing, choosing ourselves. Don't know why I always talk in third person. Maybe I should get that checked out, but I like it, so here we are. And also trying new things. Tomatoes. Make yourself like them. I tried CrossFit. Don't know if I'm going to make myself like that. I was like, you know, filling out the little thing, the waiver you have to do before you go. And it's like, do you have any injuries? And I was like, I have upper body injuries because of my car accident, blah, 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 blah. And so like they're texting me like, we can't wait for you to come. Injuries, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my shoulder, upper body, shoulder, hello. Riddle me why when I show up, the freaking first exercise is climbing a rope. Oh my God. I'm still so sore. Like, I still can't even like move my right arm over my head. It hurts so bad. But she tried. Did she succeed? No, but she tried. However, I do find it ironic that I let them know multiple times my upper body was definitely something to be considered. And they're like, great, here, we're going to teach you how to climb a rope. But you know what? It's an adventure. It's an adventure, and this cartoon character will take that adventure gladly. So, all that to say, I'm excited for the journey ahead. I'm always excited. Even when it seems like shit, I'm like, there is a light at the end of this tunnel at some point, so I'm going to get there. And now I definitely feel like I am out of the tunnel. I mean, I'm not out of the woods completely, but I think I'm out of the tunnel. I'm starting to feel the sunshine, and that's beautiful. And with the spring equinox, spring here, somewhere around the corner, all the travel that I am manifesting in my future, dare I say, finding love. Oh God, love. That's a whole other conversation, but I'm going to find it. And I'm going to heal all the freaking child wounds in the process. Big one being, I'm enough. I'm enough and I'm not too much. And I know I'm not the only person who's ever felt that way. And for any person that made us feel that way, screw them, big time. There's a lot of hidden messages in that statement right there. But you're not too much. And, for the right people, the right person, the right partner, you will be just perfect. So cheers to living life, finding the magic, and loving yourself, taking the full experience of this existence to your benefit, finding the joy in the small moments, finding the joy in the big moments, finding the strength to get through the bad moments, the sad moments, the dark moments, and just always remembering and knowing that you're going to make it out. And that's beautiful. So on that note, I'm going to end this week's episode, and we are going to, fingers crossed, we come back next week. But until then, I'm just kind of taking the pressure off myself because Lord knows I've had enough of that the past 6 months. But I'm going to get there because, I always bet on me. That's what I say. And it's nice to be known for someone who does what they say they're going to do. So I got to uphold that mantra. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyways, I hope you all are having a fantastic start to your day, start to your spring, and I'll see you next time on The In-Between. And if you're not doing so already, you can follow me on Instagram at @in.betweenpod and my personal @ElizabethCheney_. And then also on YouTube and TikTok, The In-Between Podcast. Find me there. We can be friends. We can kick it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you're looking for a travel buddy, give me a holler. Although solo travel is totally fine too. Love that. Anyways, you guys are the best. Have the most magical day that you can manifest, and I'll see you next time. I'm Elizabeth. Bye.